Imagine treating your own body like an industrial supply chain. Like you force yourself to run at 100% capacity year-round.
That sounds completely exhausting.
Right. You never allow yourself that lean scarcity of winter or like a season of rest. You would burn out in a month. So why do we expect the Earth to survive that exact same treatment? Welcome to today's deep dive. We are looking at this really fascinating essay on sacred stewardship.
It is a great read.
It really is. And our mission today is to figure out why our modern expectation of, always on connectivity or wanting fresh strawberries in the dead of winter, why that is actually an ethical crisis and not just an ecological one. So, okay, let's unpack this.
Well, the core disconnect here is how we have completely altered our perception of time and space. I mean, we started viewing time as this linear commodity that has to be constantly optimized.
Like we always have to be producing something.
Exactly. And when you operate in that linear framework, the Earth stops being a cyclical living system. It just becomes, well, a warehouse.
A warehouse. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in a warehouse, inventory just sits there waiting to be extracted, right? It is a totally dead one-way street.
Yeah, whereas a living relative actually requires a two-way relationship. You have to give care to get care. But because we treat the Earth like an abstract warehouse, we forget the literal closed-loop biological reality we live in.
Right, we live in a sealed terrarium.
Yeah.
There's literally no way to throw things to.
Precisely. Because in natural cyclical time, there is no such thing as waste. Like, we call a falling leaf garbage, but it is physically the future soil.
That is wild to think about.
It is. We are literally built from those exact soil minerals, and we are breathing what the trees exhale.
So because of that literal biological reality, that interdependence, that is exactly why you see this concept of stewardship hardwired into almost every major global tradition, right?
Yes. What's fascinating here is how it forms this golden thread across cultures. Like, take the Christian and Jewish Sabbath.
Oh, right, the day of rest.
Yeah, we often just think of it as a day of prayer. But originally, it was a mandated ecological rhythm. It actually forced the land to regenerate.
Wait, legally?
Yes, by legally requiring farmers to let their fields lie fallow, that ancient rule structurally prevented total soil depletion.
That is amazing. So what does this all mean for other cultures? Do we see that same approach? And just to be clear to the listener, we are just reporting what the source material covers here, not taking any religious or political stand.
Oh, absolutely. Indigenous cultures, for example, they use the 7 generations principle. They mathematically weigh current decisions against the survival of descendants centuries away.
Why centuries?
Yeah. And then the Islamic perspective centers on mizan, which means divine balance. It tasks humanity with maintaining the Earth's equilibrium.
So it's not just religious texts either, right?
Right. Even secular eco-spirituality relies on this logic. When they look at a mycelial network, those underground fungal threads that share nutrients between competing trees.
The wood wide web.
Exactly. They don't just see a neat science fact. They see a biological blueprint for mutual aid.
Okay, I get the romanticism of these natural rhythms, but let's be real for a second. We have 8 billion people to feed. We can't just pause global agriculture for a season of rest without causing massive famine, right?
That is a very valid point.
So how does this philosophy actually survive contact with modern logistics? Are we just supposed to accept a massive drop in our standard of living? Like, is ethical living just another exhausting list of chores?
Well, that assumes stewardship is about forced deprivation, and it's really not. It's not about adding chores to your day, like rigorously sorting, recycling, or stressing over every piece of plastic.
Right, which is what we usually think of.
Exactly. It is actually about sustainable restraint. Internalizing these earthly rhythms requires you to do less, not more.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. Yeah. Because the source text brings up this concept of rest as resistance.
I love that part.
Right. Choosing to rest more during the shorter days of winter isn't laziness. It is a direct rebellion against that extractive logic that treats humans like machines.
Absolutely. We are rejecting the idea that you have to operate at peak summer harvest energy in the middle of January.
Yes.
And that ties directly into what the source calls consumption as ceremony. Just think about the sheer thermodynamic miracle required to grow a single apple.
Oh man, the soil biology, the water cycle, the solar energy.
Exactly, all captured over months. When you recognize that massive effort, throwing half that apple in the trash stops being just a financial loss.
It becomes a moral failing. You are disrespecting the system that sustains you. And that's exactly why we can't solve these ecological challenges with technology alone.
Yeah.
A more efficient warehouse is still just a warehouse.
You really can't code your way out of biological burnout. Re-earthing our daily habits starts with just simple observational presence.
Right, like knowing when enough is enough.
Exactly. It might just be aligning your diet with what is in season locally or spending time in nature without a fitness goal attached. It isn't a heavy burden. It is a joyful homecoming to a slower tempo that actually cures the modern burnout we started with.
So the source notes that many cultures view the earth as a relative, not a resource. And I want to leave you, our listener, with this to mull over. If you woke up tomorrow and had to treat your local landscape not as a warehouse and not as just the blurry backdrop for your daily commute, but as a literal extended family member, what is the very first habit you would change?